Stop for 10 seconds and do a simple test. Look at anything in your surroundings. A cup, a phone, your hands. Now ask yourself one question. How do you know that this is real? Because you touch it? Because you see it? And what if all these impressions are only data that appear in consciousness, and without consciousness, they have nowhere to exist? The Hermeticity had a short, powerful answer to this. The all is mind. The universe is mental. In simple terms, everything is mind. The universe is mental. Does it sound like metaphysics? Maybe. But think about it. Every joy, fear, decision, and pain in your life begins as a state of mind before it turns into words and actions. And what if what we call matter is only one of the levels of the same game of consciousness? In this episode, we will go deeper than affirmations and positive thinking. I will show you how the Hermetic Law of Mentalism explains the nature of reality, why it is the foundation of all the other laws, and how to use it in practice when life speeds up and chaos appears in your head. If you stay until the end, you will leave with 3 simple exercises that you can test today, without belief, without rituals, but with attentive observation. And one more thing, this principle is not a theory for the chosen few. It is a lens through which you can see your habits, fears, and desires, and stop being their hostage. In the first film of this playlist, you already took an important step. You framed Hermeticism as a system of principles rather than a religion. Hermeticism speaks of 7 laws, but one of them serves as the floor on which all the others stand. This is precisely the Law of Mentalism. The Kybalion, published in 1908 by authors signing as the 3 Initiates, places it explicitly first and treats it as a superior principle. This is important because mentalism does not describe one phenomenon. It represents the material from which everything else is made. If you assume that the foundation of the world is matter, the conclusions will be different. If you assume that the foundation is mind, then vibration, polarity, rhythm, or cause and effect become descriptions of the dynamics of consciousness. That is why this episode is key to the entire series. Not so that you believe in something, but so that you have a map that will help you understand the next laws as one coherent whole. This approach is also consistent with materials that describe mentalism as the highest law from which the rest begins. In the Kybalion itself, the first principle is summarized in a single sentence, but its meaning permeates all subsequent chapters. And the same way, we will treat it here, as a starting point, not the end of the conversation. Let us begin with the key sentence. Everything is mind. The Kybalion uses the term the all to refer to the primary reality that underlies all manifestations. And here is the first interpretative mistake. Many people hear mind and think of their brain, analysis, planning, positive thinking, or affirmations. But the Hermetic mind is not my or your inner monologue. It is rather a universal consciousness in which phenomena appear, just as waves appear on the ocean. The ocean does not have to try to wave. Waves are its natural movement. Similarly, reality is not something added to mind. It is its expression. In practice, this means that matter is not primary, but secondary to consciousness. It is not about nothing exists, but about the fact that the mode of existence is mental. Phenomena have their reality, but their ultimate nature is grounded in consciousness. And when you begin to understand this, you stop treating the mind as a random product of chemistry and start seeing it as a tool of contact with the foundation of the world. This shifts the center of gravity from fighting with form to working with the level of consciousness. If this sounds abstract, remember that even science admits that without an observer, there is no observation. Hermeticism goes one step further and asks whether the observer might be more primary than what is being observed. The second key word is universe. The Kybalion says that the universe, in whole and in part, exists in the mental nature of the all. In other words, the universe is a mental creation. This sentence is often confused with a childish, "It's just an illusion." Hermeticism does not escape the fact that experience can be challenging, painful, and have consequences. Mentalism does not cancel the world. It says that its foundation is different from what materialism assumes. The analogy of a dream helps here. When you dream, everything seems real. Places, people, emotions, even pain. Only after waking up do you realize that the entire dream world took place in the mind. Hermeticists suggest that the reality we call objective is like a dream, only on an infinitely greater scale and according to stable laws. This explains why a change of state of consciousness can change the entire experience of life. Not because you deceive yourself with optimism, but because you change the mental parameters in which the world is experienced. And if the world is mental, then working with the mind is working with the cause, not only with the symptom. And here the practical power of this law begins. That is why Hermetic teachings place such a strong emphasis on consciousness rather than on controlling the world. Control is superficial. Understanding the source is deep. If the all is mind and the universe is mental, then where is the human being in all this? The Hermetic answer is that you are a microcosm within the macrocosm. You are not something separated from the all, but an expression of the same principle on a smaller scale. This does not mean that your ego is God. It means that your consciousness operates according to similar laws as the mind of the universe. And that is why Hermeticism places such importance on knowing yourself. Because when you know your own mental mechanisms, you learn to read the structure of reality. Notice this: your entire life is filtered through consciousness. The same fact can be an opportunity for one person and a catastrophe for another. This is not the fault of the fact, it is the difference in the level and quality of the mind through which the fact passes. The law of mentalism therefore says, you are not a helpless speck of dust in the cosmos. You are a participant in the field of consciousness in which you live. You have influence not over everything, but over the most essential point of contact with reality, the way you create it in experience. This is responsibility, but also relief, because it means that change is possible from the inside. This is also why Hermetic teachings speak about inner discipline, about learning to attend to, manage, and direct your emotions and intention, because these three things determine how you program your daily experience. How do you apply mentalism in everyday life so that it is not just a wise quote? Start with a simple distinction: experience, centered stimulus. Meaning, the stimulus is often neutral. The mind attaches an interpretation. This is a threat. This humiliates me. This proves that I am insufficient. And in a second, an emotion arises, a reaction, tension in the body. Mentalism says, if the universe is mental, then working with interpretation is working with a real part of reality, because your life reality is primarily the reality that is experienced. This is not an invitation to suppress problems. It is an invitation to go one level higher. Instead of fighting every event, you learn to recognize from what state of mind you are reacting. When you respond from fear, the world looks like a minefield. When you react from curiosity, the world seems like a space for learning. And when you react from inner stability, something appears that Hermeticists would call alchemy, the transmutation of states. This introduces us to the next laws, especially vibration, but it is already clear that the mind is not an addition to life. It is the medium in which life happens. You can test this immediately. Recall one situation from the last 24 hours and notice what story appeared in your head. That story was the engine of the reaction. I promise 3 practices, short, concrete, and ready to do immediately. Practice 1. 5 seconds to the source. When you feel stress, stop and say to yourself, "This is an experience in consciousness." Not to pretend that nothing is happening, but to return to the level where you have a choice. Practice 2. Name the filter. Write down one sentence that you most often attach to difficult situations. For example, "The world is against me," or "I have to earn my worth." Simply naming the filter weakens its power because it ceases to be invisible. Practice 3. Transmutation in the body. Close your eyes for 1 minute and locate the emotion in the body. A tightness in the stomach, tension in the throat, heaviness in the chest. Instead of analyzing it, breathe as if you were making space for that sensation. Hermeticism often emphasizes that it is not enough to observe thoughts. You must feel them, because only then does energy have a chance to transform. This exercise does not magically solve problems, but it changes the starting point, and that often changes everything: the conversation, the decision, the boundary you set. Do these 3 practices for a week and check whether your reactions become less automatic and more conscious. For many people, the 3rd practice is the hardest because it teaches contact with sensation rather than escape into thinking. And that is precisely where the old program most often holds on. At the end, let us gather this into one thought. The Law of Mentalism does not say that you are a magician who snaps fingers and changes physics. It says something much more demanding, that what you call my life is, to a great extent, a mental world, a world of meanings, interpretations, and states of consciousness. And if the universe is mental, then the deepest work is work with the mind. That is precisely why this law is first. Without it, the subsequent principles of Hermeticism sound abstract. With it, they begin to be tools for understanding, for organizing experience, and for conscious change. If you want this series to be practical, treat today's episode as an experiment. Do not ask, "Is this true?" But, what will happen if, for a week, I live as if the mind were the foundation of my experience? Write in the comments what was most surprising for you. The very idea of a mental universe, the dream analogy, or perhaps the 3 exercises. And if you want to go further, in the next film, we move on to the law of correspondence. As above, so below. Subscribe to Source Within. Share this episode with someone who likes such topics, and we will see each other in the next chapter of this playlist. If this episode was valuable for you, leave a like. It helps this series reach people who are looking for knowledge beyond the mainstream. See you at the next law.